When Cherry Blossoms Whisper. Volume 1, The First Petal. Chapter 9, Yui's Master Plan. It was an ordinary Monday morning when the chaos began. The day started with the usual hum of chatter in the school hallway as students shuffled from class to class, but all that changed when the announcement came. The student council president, Yui Nishida, stood at the front of the auditorium, her usual calm demeanor replaced with an unusual air of distress. The students fell silent as she prepared to speak, her face pale as if she had just faced an impossible challenge. "Attention, everyone," Yui said, her voice steady but tinged with a hint of frustration. "Unfortunately, due to a misunderstanding with the administration, our budget for the upcoming school festival has been misplaced." The room fell into stunned silence. For a moment, no one seemed to know what to make of the situation. The student festival had always been a big deal, and a lack of budget meant no major events, no decorations, and no special attractions. Sakura, sitting at the back with Haruto, exchanged a look of disbelief. "How does that even happen?" she muttered under her breath, not expecting an answer. Yui continued, pushing her glasses up the bridge of her nose. "But all is not lost. We've come up with an alternative. This year, instead of a lavish budget, we'll be hosting a DIY festival. Everything from decorations to activities will be created by the students themselves. It's a chance for us to show our creativity." A murmur of disbelief ran through the crowd. A DIY festival? The students had expected something grand, not a makeshift event driven by limited resources. "I'll need all hands on deck," Yui continued, her voice firm now. "We'll have to work harder than ever to make this a success. I'll be depending on everyone to come up with ideas for the festival." As the announcement ended, Haruto and Sakura made their way out of the auditorium, the atmosphere heavy with the weight of what had just been revealed. "This is a mess," Haruto said with a sigh, his hands shoved in his pockets. "No budget and we're expected to make something out of nothing?" Sakura gave a half-hearted shrug. "It might not be that bad. If anything, we'll probably have more fun doing everything ourselves. I mean, we don't really need money to make something creative, right?" Haruto raised an eyebrow, a small smirk tugging at his lips. "Since when did you get so optimistic about the DIY idea?" "I'm just saying, it could be a chance to do something new," she replied, a bit of a challenge in her voice. "Not everything has to be extravagant." The conversation was interrupted as Yui approached them. She was clearly deep in thought, and Haruto could sense she was already plotting something. "Hey, Haruto, Sakura," Yui greeted them, her usual smile not quite reaching her eyes. "I need your help." Haruto raised an eyebrow. "Help with what?" "With the festival," Yui said, her tone more serious now. "We're going to need a lot of ideas, and I need people I can trust to take on key roles. We don't have time to waste." Sakura crossed her arms, her expression skeptical. "And what exactly are we doing? Are you asking us to make a giant cardboard castle or something?" Yui grinned, her eyes glinting with determination. "Something like that, actually. But you'll see. I've got a plan. A master plan." Haruto tilted his head, looking between Yui and Sakura. "What kind of master plan are we talking about?" Before Yui could respond, Miyu and Kaede, who had been listening in from a nearby bench, quickly joined the conversation. "Miyu, Kaede." Yui greeted them with a nod. "Perfect timing. I was just about to explain." Miyu raised an eyebrow, clearly intrigued. "Master plan? You're not thinking of pulling something outrageous, are you?" Yui's grin only grew wider. "Outrageous is exactly what we need. But trust me, it'll be brilliant. We're going to split into teams, and each team will be in charge of a different aspect of the festival. Decorations, games, food stalls, you name it." Sakura looked hesitant, but she couldn't help but be curious. "Okay, but how are we going to make this work with no budget?" "Leave that to me," Yui said with a wink. "We'll rely on creativity and resourcefulness. The students will get to contribute their own ideas, and we'll work together to make it happen. I'll make sure everything fits into the theme, and we'll have a DIY festival like no one has ever seen." Haruto crossed his arms, impressed despite himself. "You've got this all figured out, don't you?" Yui nodded confidently. "I'm not just good at organizing, I'm good at thinking on my feet. Don't worry, Haruto. This will be a success." The group gathered their things and headed to their next class, each of them now deep in thought about what they could contribute. Haruto couldn't help but feel a sense of excitement stir within him, despite the earlier chaos. If Yui's plan worked, this DIY festival might turn out to be more fun than he'd originally thought. After school, the next few days were filled with a frantic buzz of activity. Every student was given a role and the classrooms transformed into crafting hubs. The art room was filled with cardboard boxes, glitter, and paint, while other areas were set up for building game booths and brainstorming food ideas. Haruto found himself working alongside Sakura, with the two of them in charge of a section of the decorations. He watched as Sakura, despite her usual cool demeanor, became animated as they discussed designs and ideas. It was the most he had seen her open up in a while, and it surprised him to see how passionate she was about bringing something unique to life, even without a budget. "You're actually pretty good at this," Haruto remarked as he watched her sketch out a design for a decorative archway. Sakura glanced at him, a hint of pride in her eyes. "I like making things with my hands. It's relaxing. Plus, it's fun to make something out of nothing, right?" Haruto nodded, impressed. "Yeah, it's kind of exciting. I didn't think this would turn out to be fun." Sakura gave him a smirk. "Told you." By the end of the week, the festival was coming together beautifully. Despite the lack of funds, the DIY spirit had brought out a side of creativity no one had expected. Each team worked tirelessly, and even Yui's master plan seemed to be unfolding flawlessly. Festival Day. The festival arrived, and to everyone's surprise, it was a massive success. The DIY booths were overflowing with visitors, the food stalls had long lines, and the decorations were unlike anything anyone had ever seen at a school festival. Haruto found himself standing next to Sakura, looking out over the bustling festival grounds. "Well, I'll admit it," he said with a grin. "This is pretty impressive." Sakura smiled back, her eyes sparkling with satisfaction. "Told you." Yui walked past them, looking more satisfied than ever. She gave them a thumbs up. "Great work, everyone. I knew you could do it." Haruto watched her for a moment, realizing just how much Yui had put into this festival, turning a seemingly hopeless situation into something truly remarkable. As the festival continued, Haruto couldn't help but feel a growing bond with everyone involved. Even through the chaos, the shared experience brought them closer together. It wasn't just about the festival, it was about the connections they were building, the teamwork, and the creativity that flowed freely between them. And as the day wound down, with the setting sun casting a warm glow over the festival, Haruto realized something important. This wasn't just a DIY festival. It was the beginning of something more, a new chapter for all of them, filled with unexpected moments and even more unexpected bonds. Thanks for watching our video. If you find this video interesting, then please subscribe our YouTube channel. If you're watching this video from TikTok, Facebook, or Instagram, then follow our page for more contents like this.